Designing patterns is no joke. Usually, this is how my process goes. You start with an idea and you usually try to sketch that out so that you can visualize it. Then you measure for the sizes that you want to do, and you want to include as many sizes as possible so that many people can have it. Then you start doing math. I like to use spreadsheets for patterns so that you can quickly do math for everything, and when I think quickly, it's still a lot of work. And when you're finally done with the thinking and the math, then you start knitting. You start knitting your own sample, which means that you're gonna probably frog and start over and over and over at least 3 times. When you finally finish your own sample, now you have to write down the pattern, but you have to write it in a way that people understand and they can do it themselves and not just you. So once you write it down, this is where the testers come in. So you get a few testers, at least one per size, that is gonna test out your pattern and make sure that there are no mistakes, that the math is actually working, and you have to do all the edits, and then finally you can release your pattern. I mean, it's no wonder not everyone and anyone can design a pattern. But you know, sometimes you just want a quick pattern, or you have yarn in your stash that you want to use up, but can't find a pattern to fit it. You have to do something for your entire family, and the pattern that you found online doesn't fit all the sizes. Or you know, sometimes you just don't want to do math. You just want to be able to pick something up and knit it. And that's why I was really excited when Bellish reached out to me to review their app. Bellish is a pattern generator. It's an app. What it does is that it does all the thinking for you. All you gotta do is choose what is it that you want to make, and it will figure out all the math. Sounds like magic. It certainly does. Which is why I was like, yeah, I have to try this out. And I did. And I'm gonna talk to you about my experience with the Bellish app. So how does the app work? It's very user-friendly, I found. You open the app and the first thing you see is all these different examples of patterns that they've done. But the big draw, of course, is the button that says create your own pattern. So I started with what do I want to make, right? I chose between a hat and a sock, and I put an Instagram poll, and just by a little it was tight, but the socks won. It's very easy to create the pattern. All you gotta do is choose what you want. And then you start getting specific into that garment. For the socks, very specifically, they ask like, what is the height of the sock that you wanna do? What type of heel do you wanna do? There are toe-up socks, which I'd never done before, which is interesting. So that was something new for me. So yeah, like different details. For the sweaters, for example, they will ask you like, what type of yoke do you want? Like, what is the length of the sleeves? That sort of thing, and very customizable specifically to the garment. Then you go into yarn. And the cool thing about the yarn part is that they have from fingering to worsted weight. That's the really cool part, because they tell you how much you're gonna need for the pattern as you choose what type of yarn you have. So it's almost like reverse. Instead of trying to find the yarn for your pattern, you can just go, okay, I have this sock yarn, what can I make with it? I have 200 grams of it, what can I make? Then it asks you again for specific size, so then you can go like adult small, or maybe even children's. Then you get to choose colors. I think this part is mostly just to visualize like how your garment's gonna look in color. And then after all of this, you can go back and change things if you change your mind, or you can just generate the pattern. So it's gonna give you a list of the things that you're gonna need, like materials, like the yarn and the size of the needles and all that kind of stuff. And then the pattern itself, I mean, it was really easy to follow. Like I said, I had never done sew-up socks before, so that was interesting. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to do the cast on, and I did add spine stitch over the instep. The preview looked kind of funny in the drawing, but when I actually knitted it up, it looked really nice. So here's my sock finished. I used, for the dark blue, I used stroll. And for this part, I used Seven Sisters Meridian. And like I said, there was like, there's a spine stitch going over. That was the first time I did this type of heel. I think they turned out really cute. Things that I liked about this app. I really like how easy it is to use, and like how beautiful the design is. That can be a little bit of a superficial thing when the design is easy, but it's just, I like it when things look pretty. It's incredible all the different sizes that it has. That's the part that I think is the best, because like I said, the math for sizes is just like a lot. So if they do it for me, awesome. For example, every year I knit a sweater for my husband. Surprisingly, I always have a hard time finding men patterns that I like, and just designing one for him is just a lot of work. With this app, I could just go ahead and select this size and do a sweater for him. I could even do matching sweaters if you want to get cheesy, because you can just take the same pattern and then change the size. So that's like mind-blowing to me. I'm really excited to do that sort of thing. Same with the socks. Like if I wanted today to do matching socks but smaller or larger, I could. Another thing that I really liked about Bellish is that when you are knitting your pattern, there is an option for counters. I always have a hard time keeping track of the rows, but it's nice that it's already built into the app. You can actually create several counters and give them names. So if you need to like count certain rows, but then you also need to count certain stitches on the same, you know, at the same time, that's pretty awesome. That's very useful. What would I improve about this app? Me personally, I don't like printing things in general. I'm just not, I just feel so bad about, you know, using paper. I like to take notes on my phone, and usually when I buy patterns, I just download the PDF onto my phone or my iPad, and then I just use that. I know a lot of people though that would prefer to have tangible patterns and tangible things, and the app doesn't allow you to print right now, which again, it's not really a problem for me, but some people would, so it would be nice if the option was there. And then of course it would be nice to see more options of garments, which I'm sure they're working on that, and they're going to bring more of that. Already they have a lot though, so it's not a turn off. Like there are cardigans, sweaters, socks, hats, you know, for kids, for adults, like there are all these different things. Another thing that would be nice was if it has some sort of social aspect to it, where I could be like, hey guys, look, I designed this pattern. Other people would wanna do my pattern like within the app. But I mean, it's not a turn off. Again, it's just an idea. Oh, one more thing I did notice. I downloaded the app both on my phone and on my iPad, and it's like there isn't an account or something like that is holding all your patterns. So it would be nice if I could just have the same stuff in different devices. But I guess like that's some kind of feature that they could add at some point. When I first talked about Bellish on Instagram, when I was starting to knit these socks, some people asked me questions, and so I asked them, and I bring you some answers in case you are also wondering. Yes, the app is free, but it's only available on iOS, so if you have Android, you can't download it yet. However, they are working on an Android release that is gonna come at some point this year, so do keep an eye out. And the other thing is that their website actually has a lot of patterns already. Another question that I got a lot on Instagram, and that they get a lot too, is crochet, like whether they're planning to do crochet, and they told me that yes, that's in their plans in the future. Like I don't know yet when or how they would integrate crochet, but that's definitely something that they are planning to do. So that's gonna be really exciting to have an app where you can do knitting and crochet and generate patterns. I'm definitely up for that. So yeah, that was the Bellish app. I am very happy with my sock. Obviously, I will continue to do my own patterns for very specific ideas that I have. But I think for personal projects, I think it's gonna be my go-to for those type of projects. So yeah, that's what I have for you today. So I want to say again, thank you to Bellish for sponsoring this video and for letting me do this review. Again, these were all my opinions. I really did enjoy making these socks. I will put a link to it too in the description, and I'm gonna get back to knitting now. So hope you guys have a good day, morning, afternoon, or wherever in the world you are, and happy knitting! Honestly, like the only thing that this app doesn't do for you is actually knit the sock.